What is up, down, and sideways to all you familiar faces in very different places? Eric and Mark here with you guys for another rundown on League Unlock. And week one behind us in Europe and North America, which means it is time for the first round of power rankings in 2020. We did the LPL once, but the first time with NA and EU.
This is the official ones coming through here. Time to break out the big boys for the LCS and LEC power rankings. First Tuesday power rankings coming through in this brand new season. Feels good to have this nice and fresh, juicy content to discuss.
And as you know, week one, probably the most difficult power rankings to do because these matches are weighted so heavily with all these teams only having 2 games on the Rift. So yeah, who you beat plays huge implications, and how dominant or how clean you looked in those matchups. They're weighted very heavily. We're starting in North America, going 10-6, and there are a few winless teams, and that's another thing when you're in the first week. There's a lot of squads that have the exact same record.
Right, you're going to see these ones, not too many games to play, only a maximum of 2 here, of course, and at the very bottom, got the Golden Guardians coming in at number 10 here with, of course, that 0-2 record, not looking very golden are the Golden Guardians.
No, and we've seen them have very rough starts before and kind of get back into playoff contention. But for Golden Guardians and CLG, there were not that many positives to look towards. There was a lot of just mechanical misplays that you were seeing out of some of the players and not much control over the map as a whole. They were never really in either of their matchups, which is why they're in the bottom 2. And the other winless team, Team Solo Mid, fresh off their Monday Night League debut against Team Liquid, and they are the highest of the winless teams, even though they they absolutely had the ugliest game with that Immortals loss, but they had some positive early games. They had something positive, so they're in at number 8, but not saying much.
And you know what? For about a whole month of boot camping in China and Korea, I'm not seeing enough of those positives here in Team Solo Mid's performances in week number 1. When you look across the board on this lineup and how the performances have gone, you can pretty much ask for a little bit more almost from every single position. I think, some tough spots here for Biofrost in the past couple of games, but I like the ideas of what he's maybe been trying to do in the mid game for the squad here, because that's the real issue. Early game, you're getting these advantages, things are looking good so far, and then you get to this mid game and, well, it's TSM not knowing what to do whatsoever and how to pressure these advantages, how to keep growing these advantages anymore. And teams, you don't have that skill gap advantage in your favor so much anymore that it doesn't matter. Now you need to do something with it, and they're not doing anything.
It is pretty impressive that you bring in 3 completely new players for 2020, and a lot of the same issues that plagued you throughout 2019 are front and center right away in an entirely new split.
Not what you want to be seeing from this new squad. And then, but from the new squad for Immortals, you saw a little bit of what you wanted to see here. Better than what a lot of people
I didn't want to see anything from that TSM game. There was nothing out of that game I want to see again.
For a squad that had only maybe 2 days of practicing together, I can accept that performance from Immortals. There's very few things you can accept in that game, and especially on the TSM side, you don't want to be accepting a lot of it. But with 2 days of practice, I'll take that one as a victory for Immortals. Moving forward, I hope the French here can keep improving.
And they probably still looked better than what people were expecting out of this roster. 100 Thieves looked great in their first matchup. Then they go to the Monday Nighter against EG, and that one was very much in the control of Evil Geniuses. That was more the Svenskeren we were expecting. So 100 Thieves in that 6th spot.
Yeah, still wanting to see a little bit more here from the 100 Thieves. Expectations, again, wanting to see them push into that upper echelon of the league. Not quite there in week 1.
Still plenty of time to prove themselves. The top 5, just talked about EG getting the win against 100 Thieves, so that head-to-head definitely propels them into that top 5 area. Again, very similar to 100 Thieves, where they look great in one game and kind of terrible in the other one, so it's pretty hard to rank them, but at least they had one positive game. Team Liquid, they had a lead against Cloud9 for a bit, but then Cloud9 completely took the game over. They got the win against TSM, in control for the most of that game, even though Doublelift was 0-2 very early on in the game. He still somehow left lane phase with a 20 CS lead.
Yeah, that's not a good sign here for Team Solo Mid in that situation, but it's Team Liquid at number 4. And yes, 1-1 this week, the way that you maybe had
That's a win for them.
the expectations heading in with the visa issues, absolutely that's a win for Team Liquid with that 1-1 record. And hey, Surenfire, if he's going to be in there for week 2, you've at least had some time now here. And again, a time on the main stage here with that main roster here, and hopefully get these visa issues resolved here fast for Team Liquid, get them to full strength.
It's only a matter of time before they're back into the top 3, top 1 area. But for now, it is FlyQuest in that 3rd spot, the first of the 2-0 squads, and really the main reason they're behind the other 2. They had a pretty dominant performance, but it was an easier schedule for them. Maybe not based on preseason. CLG was supposed to be great, but they didn't look great against FlyQuest at all. But they look great in their 2 wins, and the environment is looking better with each dub that these guys pick up.
I gotta say, man, this is one of those things. Man, are you really gonna be cheering against the squad here, cheering against the environment here? Man, that is. You got to be really evil here to deny a FlyQuest victory, because that's saying, nah, I don't want 100 more trees on this planet. I want my victory more. That is just selfish, guys. FlyQuest coming through and saying, I don't care about that. 2-0, planting those trees and taking our number 3 spot.
And can we just appreciate our boy Viper in the top lane? For a guy who was known as a one-trick, he can still pull out this Riven and completely smash any LCS other top laner, really. That is a must ban against FlyQuest, and even on picks outside of Riven, he's looked great for almost the past full year. The top 2, Dignitas, a spot ahead of FlyQuest. They had tougher competition, and they looked better in their wins. Dig absolutely showed up in week 1. Froggen and Huni is a nightmare matchup for those solo queue flex capabilities that they have. And Johnson in his LCS debut looked fantastic. He had a solid KDA of 20.
Looking nice, and that is exactly what Dignitas had wanted here heading into this first week of the LCS. When you're looking at their roster with Huni and Froggen there, you think of all the unique champions that these guys can play to such a high level, and as you said, bringing that into your solo lanes brings that level of power. And then yes, Johnson and Aframu have been a very nice surprise in how strong they've been able to play together earlier on. This is something that I didn't expect them to find maybe this level of synergy, or even in this level of play at all in this split. So to see them really hit their stride so early feels good for Dignitas fans.
And they look great, but still not enough to be number 1, because Cloud9, another 2-0 squad, and a win against Team Liquid, even though it was the very first day of the split. It wasn't Liquid's starting jungler. You've still got to weigh that win pretty highly, even if their other matchup was against the Golden Guardians. C9 looked pretty clean and uncontested in both of their wins, and that's why they're numero uno after week 1.
Right, and even if you're considering, okay, yeah, but their victory is, okay, against TL with their replacement jungler, and you got a victory here against the Golden Guardians where you got ranked really lowly. How are these guys slotting in at number 1? The way that they took care of the business that was in front of them, that's why you got to be putting an organization like Cloud9 at the number 1 rankings here for week number 1 in the LCS. Sven and Vulcan looking like that bottom lane that you invested that money into, that you wanted. Blabber delivering that aggression from the jungle. And of course, you got Niski and Licorice doing exactly what they've been doing on Cloud9 for the past year for sure. Looking solid already at the top here for the LCS.
The standings and rankings are extremely volatile, as they always will be the first couple of weeks. Expect plenty of movement between really the entire first 4 weeks of LCS action. But for now, C9 number 1 on the LCS rankings.